Okay, this is the November 2017 edition of Powerscopes, and we have some interesting stuff happening this month, so pay very careful attention. The general overview and rule of the month for everyone will be 1. Neptune will be going direct, finally. But it won't do it until closer to the end of the month. However, this is very important, especially for those of you who are involved in any type of creative endeavors, artistic, music, things of that nature that involve connecting with and channeling and getting inspiration from the great divine and the cosmos out there. So you'll find that a lot of your efforts finally, oh my God, move forward with a lot less resistance. This is in particular true for those of you who are Neptune ruled, our little Pisces. So dear Pisces, you've been getting batted about quite a bit for a while, and the cavalry is here and relief is on the way. So hang in there. Okay. Also, what is very interesting this month for all of us is that Venus and Mars will be in Libra and Scorpio respectively, making a mutual reception with each other, which is a lot like your best buddy in childhood who you could count on for everything, including covering for you when you guys got caught doing something you weren't supposed to be. So Venus and Mars are moving into the very, very sexy pairing of Venus and Libra, or I'm sorry, Venus and Scorpio, Mars and Libra. So games of seduction, flirtation, and romance are high on the list of things that will move very successfully this month and should definitely be pursued if for no other reason than mental health and entertainment. So there's that. Also, not once but twice this month we will be hitting some very, very lucky stars, and we'll get into that in a second. Some of you will be more blessed by this than others, but we will all be feeling the delightful blessings, even if they're in disguise, that will be coming with these particular transits. Okay? All right. So let's start with Aries. Aries, as you well know, Uranus is still in your sign and will be there for quite a little while longer, making you just as impatient and difficult to deal with as you ever were, and maybe more so with your short attention span theater thing going on. Now, this is further complicated this month because Mars will be rolling through your 7th house. So this is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because what this is going to do is force you to be more aware of other people and their needs. So you're not riding quite so roughshod over everyone around you. And it will be a good thing because it will give you the pushback that you need, because you need challenges in your relationships or you get very bored. It will give you the pushback that you need to help you gain some perspective, and also to put a little spice back in your relationship. Venus will be moving from the 7th into your 8th house. It will be joining Jupiter in your 8th house. So along with the emphasis on other people's needs and restraining orders, there will also be an emphasis on shared resources. So you are going to have to compromise. I know, dirty word, horrible. It'll be good for you though. At the beginning of the month, we have a full moon at 12 Taurus, which will fall in your 2nd house of finances. There are also some very lucky aspects happening around this particular full moon, and for you in particular, this could be a financial windfall that comes unexpectedly. So if you were looking for a promotion, or if you were looking for like a win or money owed to you that gets paid back, unexpectedly, all of these things are within the realm of possibilities. So expect a little extra pocket change coming in. Towards the middle of the month, around this new moon, which will be in Scorpio, that will again fall in your 8th house. So again, issues of money, shared resources, shared money, money you owe to other people and money that people owe you. All of these things are going to come up for review. If you are at this time involved in extracurricular activities, be aware that this is the time when you will have to come to Jesus about that. So if you have an open relationship or you're in a poly relationship, this may not be an issue as much as those people who are claiming monogamy and not being so monogamous. Aries people, you know who you are. Okay. Mercury and Saturn will continue their sojourn through your 9th house of legal affairs, contractual agreements, and higher education. So the big questions about life and the future will weigh heavy on your head. And you will be asked to make actual serious decisions that mean something that you'll stick to about where you're going moving forward. This, all in all, this should be a very, very stabilizing time for you, and your ability to come up with amazingly inspirational ideas that really put things into place properly will be much easier at this time than before. So if you've been really stuck with a problem, this is the time to kind of get in there with it and figure out how to make it better, because the what is the word that I'm looking for? The flash of insight, you know, the genius, that stroke of genius will come. It will come. Okay. And Pluto remains in your 10th house, as it will for quite some time. Definitely putting your feet to the fire about a lot of things and really putting you in a position to, I don't want to say get serious, but definitely it's going to put you in a position to think long and hard about the long-term impact of your decisions. So aside from the typical nonsense that you get up to keep life entertaining, you know, Pluto will continue to do its magical thing. Now, with Mars and Venus dancing around this Pluto degree, relationships are definitely on the table, and you are not being let off the hook. So I will tell you that this month in particular, more than any other month, it's very critical that you really think seriously about what you're saying and what you're meaning and what you're planning to do, because these will have far-reaching and long-term consequences this time, no joke, and you won't have a lot of say in the matter. So yeah, that compromise, there's no way around it, and these are permanent compromises, so think long and hard. Okay, Taurus. Where are you, my lovely Taurus? Okay, so we've got some good things. We've got some good news and some bad news. Okay, so the good news is that you have Venus moving into your 7th house with sexy Jupiter, and Mercury and Saturn going into your 8th. So what this means for you is that you will find relationships and sex appeal and people finding you oh so deliciously attractive a lot more frequently than you usually do. And for some of you, this could be a bit of a challenge, because, you know, being Venus ruled, you do tend to pull in admirers, but not the not the flighty, flirtatious admirers. Like, you pull in people who want you, like, I want you kind of thing. So there's more of that this month than ever before. So if you're single, you'll have lots and lots of choices. If you are not single, you're going to have lots and lots of potential complications. The full moon this month is at the beginning of the month, around the 4th. It will fall in your 1st house. So I would look for lots of love and relationship and, you know, sexy vibe activity around this time. And also, as with everyone, you know, it will certainly bring things to a head. Although I think in your particular case, what this is actually going to do for you is it's going to bring to the surface, an attraction you may not have been aware of. And it may actually be through work. So I'm not, well, you know, they say you shouldn't mess around with people that you work with, but honestly, we spend so much time at our jobs these days, it's a little hard to date otherwise. So just be aware that the work romances may be presenting themselves as part of this big full moon surprise for you. It could also be, with that said, no, I think that's what it is. all in all, it should be a very, very good, it should be a very good full moon for you. And I'm expecting a lot of benefit coming through other people. So you may find that other people are much more supportive and helpful as far as your ambitions go, and your work efforts than before. So have no fear. Venus is here. Okay, so for you, my friend, the tough parts of the month are going to be around the 10th and the 18th, the quarter moon and the new moon, in both Leo and Scorpio. Although the quarter moon in Leo around the 10th is probably going to be the most problematic for you. So it looks like some domestic or home stuff. You've got some stuff going on there that you're going to have to deal with. You just have to deal with them. So be prepared for unexpected home emergencies or changes in the home, pipes bursting, things backing up, things of that nature. So there may be some unexpected costs associated with the home as we go along. Other than that, Mercury and Saturn will continue its passage. Well, Mercury's moving into Sagittarius, so they're both now in your 8th house. And this will absolutely bring your finances into clear focus. So you may find yourself looking at moving your investments around, or you may be signing life insurance policies, or you may be looking at taking on some debt. So the things that I would say with this particular month, if you can avoid it, try not to take on unnecessary debt if you don't have to. This would not be a good time to sign on for loans. However, this would be a very good time to get involved in long-term plans for improving your financial picture. So investments, investment accounts, life insurance policies, anything that will increase your financial net worth over a long, structured period of time will be very good right now. Okay. Gemini. Oh, Gemini. Oh, Gemini. Okay. So, my dear Geminis, there is no bigger mischief maker in the zodiac. There really isn't. And your hijinks and flirtatiousness and propensity to join things together, like many people, like people who don't know each other that are joined together by their knowing you. All of these things are going to be very much highlighted. And again, with you also, it's a whole work romance thing, or somebody's romance at work for sure. So this is a phenomenal time for you to be social. There's going to be a lot of social activity, especially on the job. Lots of intrigue, lots of stuff going on at work that's just going to hit your gossip meters to full tilt. And I know how hard it is for you to resist sharing information, because that's really all you're doing is just sharing information. But I will say that right now with this month, be warned that aside from all of the unbelievably juicy gossip and intrigues you may be getting yourself involved in, there's a high price to pay for lack of integrity, lack of trustworthiness, and being irresponsible. So if you absolutely feel you must share some juicy piece of information with somebody, please think long and hard about who you're sharing it with and for what purpose, because it will come back to bite you on the behind immediately, sooner, not later. Okay, Neptune will be going direct in your 10th house of career at the end of the month. Now, Neptune's been retrograde in your 10th house, so it's your career thing's been kind of, going on autopilot. It's been a little bit sleepy, but you've been safe from it. So the problem is that when Neptune goes direct, Neptune is going to uncover, because it's going to kick up all that dust, uncover all those things you didn't think anybody was ever going to pay attention to. So if you've got stuff you've been sweeping under the rug, I would take the early part of the month to go in and start doing some massive cleanup, like right now, because anything that you miss or forget will get kicked up and out into the open by the end of the month. Now, because Neptune is in Pisces, and that's not necessarily a friendly sign to Gemini, and because it certainly is not friendly to that Mercury, your ruler, in Sagittarius, this will not necessarily play out in ways that will not challenge you. So you will definitely be challenged and called to the carpet to have a come to Jesus moment for more than a few things when Neptune goes direct. Some of this may have to do with stuff you've just neglected or ignored, and some things may have to do with things you've deliberately obfuscated or hidden from people. But, you know, at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for the things that you've done and make an accounting or reckoning for them. So start now. Oh, God. And you should be able to get through it okay. It looks like work is going to be very, very good, and there'll be lots and lots of assignments, lots of busyness. So make use of this time and make it work for you, and try not to let all of this progress and assistance that you're going to get kind of get kicked over, you know, because of, you know, mistakes that you've made and didn't think to go back and clean up. You know what I mean? Okay, and Cancer. Oh my gosh. So, Cancer. Can we talk? So relationships, you know, for you have not been the easiest. You've had Pluto going through your 7th house, and everywhere Pluto goes, it's just not easy. There's nothing light or easy about a Pluto transit. And going through your 7th house, you have attracted more than your fair share of heavyweights, you know, when it comes to partnership and relationships, and, you know, outspoken critics and outspoken supporters. Like, there hasn't been a whole lot of leeway. It's been huge, right? One way or the other. Now, this particular month, we've got as Venus moves into Scorpio with Jupiter, it's moving in your 5th house. So this is going to do a couple of things. One, it could make you fertile as all get out. So if you're not interested in having children right now, and I mean this seriously, if you're not interested in having children right now, I strongly urge you to double up on your birth control, because the energy and the playing field is ripe. It's a ripe field of potential for baby making. It is baby making season. And also with Mars in that 4th house, continued transit through your 4th house, and mutual reception of that Venus in your 5th, this definitely lends itself to a desire, and certainly a more assertive energy towards, you know, additions to the family. So you may get a pet, or you may get a baby. These are things that are completely, mostly within your control, so be aware. Okay, Mercury and Saturn will continue their journey through your 6th house. So housekeeping is definitely in order. Some health issues may pop up. You may not be feeling, you know, your best. I mean, you certainly have had better days. But the good news is that with Mercury and Saturn together in that 6th house, this also makes it possible for you to finally get some clarity and some finality on how to make improvements or better your health. So if you've been struggling with some chronic health issues, this is the time when conversations will occur that may be the most productive you've had in a while. If you don't have chronic health issues, and this is all sort of suddenly coming into play, you may find that this is a very important time for you to make some long-term lifestyle changes. And that's what is kind of pushing all of this forward. When Neptune goes direct towards the end of the month, we can expect, especially for you, let's see, 8, 9. So when Neptune goes direct at the end of the month, Neptune will go direct in your 9th house. And it will square your Mercury, Saturn in the 6th. Now, technically, that sounds kind of like a bad aspect, but it's not. So one of the things that this particular aspect is good for, when Neptune goes direct and it squares that Mercury and Saturn, it is going to allow you to really visualize into concrete manifestation something or anything that you're very serious about. So I know if you've watched any of my videos, you know that this October in particular has been a month where we really need to weed the garden of our minds. And for you in particular, November is the month where you really, if you get in there and do the work, you're going to pull it in. So this is a great time for making concrete plans about your vision for the future. So use this energy wisely instead of letting it use you. Don't get swept up in the hurricane. You know, you can ride this one. Okay, and so Uranus will continue its travels through your 10th house. Happy, happy, joy, joy. And let's look at these moons here. Okay, so you're very sensitive to the fluctuations of the moon. So we're going to start with a full moon on the 4th in the sign of Taurus, which will be in your 11th house. Yes. Okay, so this should be and it's a very nice full moon, so this should be a very, very social time for you. Very, very active with groups, organizations, friends, doing presentations, workshops, things that put you out and about among the masses, and possibly even around people that you've never met before. So new friends that you haven't met yet are definitely the order of the day around this full moon. The new moon around the 18th is also about the time that Neptune stations direct. I want you to keep an eye on this new moon. And again, your ability to manifest what you visualize is pretty powerful right now. This is going to be a very significant new moon for you. Neptune is going to station direct in the sign of Pisces, which is very compatible with your sun sign Cancer. The new moon itself is also going to be in a compatible water sign at 26 Scorpio. So what we're looking at is with your sun combined with this, we have the equivalent of an elemental grand trine in water, which is phenomenal for manifesting and visualizing. So pay attention to this new moon, and also pay attention to any dreams that you have around this time. They'll be very useful and important to you. Okay, and Leo. All right, what do we got going on here, Pookie? All right, so, oh my gosh, you know, because mental health is everything in life. So for my Leo friends, some things to be aware of. Mars continues its travels through your 3rd house. Watch your bite, my friend. So you're likely to be, even though it's in the sign of Libra, which is, you know, very velvet glove, iron fist in a velvet glove sort of thing. Even though it's in the diplomatic sign of Libra, Mars is still Mars, and it is in your 3rd house. So be careful that you are not more aggressive and assertive than you mean to be or need to be. You're going to have to be very, very careful how you're being perceived by people, because this is potentially a phenomenal time to get a whole lot done. So in terms of getting people to do what you want them to do and helping you with your agenda, this is the time, because Mars and Venus will be in mutual reception through the month. And your charisma, your ability to persuade people will be absolutely optimum. However, the caveat here is that you have to manage it. If you do not keep yourself in check, and if you're not conscious of how you're using your words and your tone of voice and your body language, you may find that rather than inviting cooperation and alliances, you're inviting war and open challenges and conflicts, because Libra is the sign of war. Okay. So if you get that under control, you can have them eating out of your hand. So be aware. Now, with that said, you've got Venus and Jupiter. Venus will slide into the sign of Scorpio and join Jupiter in your 4th house. So this is a time when you will actually, unlike other people who would want to be more social, you're actually going to want to be more private. So Venus and Jupiter together in Scorpio in that 4th house, your privacy needs are going to be more emphasized or accentuated. And also some of your relationships, see, you're another one up to all kinds of mischief this month. Your relationships with people that you know already may be a little bit more interesting. So, getting re-involved with the ex is always a possibility. Getting involved with a friend of a friend is always a possibility. Starting to date, the friend of a brother or a sister is a possibility. Dating your neighbors is a possibility. There's a whole lot here going on that's going to make life very interesting. So I'm not even going to give you advice. We just give us the report later because I can't wait to hear about this. Okay, so with that, Mercury and Saturn will also be in the 5th house. So one of the things this Mercury-Saturn conjunction in Sagittarius in your 5th house is going to do is it's going to make you a lot more cautious about going out and jumping into the dating scene, which could be why you're getting into sideways relationships with people that are very close to you that you're not committed to. So that could be some of that. Also to remember, with Mercury and Saturn in your 5th house, some things are favored, some things are not. So older people, getting involved with people who are older than yourself, definitely favored. You'll benefit from that. Getting involved with people who are younger than yourself, it's going to be a headache. Oh my God, so much regret, so much regret. But listen, I can't tell you what to do. We just want report when it's over. Okay, and Neptune will go direct in your 8th house this month, and Neptune, because Neptune is going to square that Mercury Saturn in your 5th. So Neptune stationing direct in your 8th house, making that square to your 5th house, is going to do possibly one of a couple of things. One, it could expose or unleash some information about your well, let's just say a checkup to the doctor might be in order. So, which is probably also why you probably don't want to mess around with people who are too much younger than yourself. Us old people, we don't have a whole lot of time to live, so we're much more careful about what we do with ourselves. Sorry. Or Neptune squaring that 5th house may make you feel a lot more anxious and insecure and less confident than you normally do about relationships and why you're in them. So it's not a great time, and it's definitely time for you to kind of get in touch with the things that are a little wobbly inside yourself, so you stop putting yourself in these positions. Okay, and for you, your your lunar report for this month, dates to watch. Definitely around the 10th, we've got a quarter moon at 18 Leo. It's going to involve your 1st house, obviously. At that time, it will quincunx Pluto, and Venus, that is the day, around the days that Venus will enter Scorpio. So you're going to find that a lot in your personal life, it makes a big shift around the 10th. So I would keep an eye on that. And again, also, with this particular lunation, this quarter moon in 18 Leo, quincunx Pluto, these are not easy changes. So there's some sacrifice that's going to have to be made. You may find yourself having to say goodbye to somebody, or say goodbye to a relationship or a long-standing status that you've been enjoying up until this point. So be aware and be kind to yourself and understand that this is just part of the process, and we're just kind of clearing the fields for new things to be planted. Okay. And Virgo, I can't do that, Virgo. All right, Mars is burning through your 2nd house, so finances are the order of the day, and Venus will travel from your 2nd to your 3rd house, so some of this money may be money spent on education and learning and improving yourself. Definitely this appears to be money spent, well spent, as an investment into yourself and the betterment of yourself. So there is that. There's also the possibility that so this is a warning, if you do get traffic citations for speeding and things of that nature, it's going to be higher than usual, and you're going to have a horrible time getting out of those tickets. So for the month, my advice would be to slow down and pay attention. This is no time to take chances with speed traps and traffic violations and any manner of stupid, silly, minor stuff that they could slap you with huge fines for anyway, because they will. They will take it and they will run a mile with it where you're concerned. Now, 2, 3, 4. Mercury and Saturn will go through your 4th house. So again, this is the time of year when you're feeling it. And this year more so than ever, just this need to kind of purge. So a lot of getting rid of stuff and getting rid of dead weight and anchors in your life is going to be on your mind. So this is a great time to start clearing the deck and figuring out what it is that you can do without and what's holding you back psychologically and physically. Okay, Pluto continues to go through your 5th house, and 6, 7, 8. And Neptune will go direct in your 7th at the end of the month. Any weirdness or confusion or ambiguity and all those things you hate, that you've been dealing with the entire time that Neptune has been retrograde, you can take a deep breath, Virgo, because the cosmos does love you, even though it doesn't seem like it some days. Oh, sorry. And as soon as Neptune goes direct, all mysteries will be solved, everything will clear up, and you will have some clarity and understanding finally in all of this. So hang in there. It's going to get better. For you, my lovely Virgo folks, the full moon around the beginning of the month is going to be absolutely brilliant for you. And I would actually look for, and for you as well, some windfall of some kind. So you should have some type of really beneficial assist, financially, professionally, or otherwise. It kind of lands in your lap around the beginning of the month, around this full moon. So I'm really looking forward to that for you. The quarter moon at the end of the month, which is going to be after, like a couple weeks after Neptune goes direct, it's going to be a little hairy. And for you in particular, you and Pisces, I want you to be, but you especially, I want you to be very careful when you're out driving or you're out in public. There's some accident-prone aspects that are going to show up, especially for you. So the more we can minimize this, the happier we're all going to be. And again, remember, you don't want to get citations for anything because they will literally slap you with the biggest fine they can find because for whatever reason, you look like big moneybags McDougal this month. So there are easier ways to donate to your local law enforcement. All right. And Libra, you big sexpot, you. Okay, so Libra, for the month of November, you are on fire, honey. Oh my God, you're on fire. So all you lovely, devilish, seductive, charming bastards, Libra, you are in your element this month. So Mars cruises through your 1st house. Venus is in mutual reception to it in your 2nd with Jupiter. Oh my God, not only are you as charismatic as all get out this month, but people just want to give you things. They want to give you money. They want to give you favors. They want to give you love. They want to give you their panties with phone numbers written on them. Oh my gosh. I'll take even a quarter of that. You just come on over here and rub up next to me for walks. I could use some of that. Oh, sorry, allergies. Okay, so this is going to be quite the bumper crop month for you. Darn it. So I have nothing to add to that. I literally have nothing to add to that except watch out for the bunny boilers. And for those of you who don't know what a bunny boiler is, if you've ever seen, it was a long time ago, there's a movie called, I don't remember what it was called, but there was a scene in it where it's a woman who gets involved with a married man and she becomes obsessed with him and decides she wants him all to herself. And there's a scene in there where she shows up at his house when nobody's home and she takes the family rabbit and boils it in a pot because she's pissed off at him because he won't leave his wife. It sounds worse. Well, actually, that's still pretty bad either way. Anyway, so when we talk about obsessive personalities that don't know how to take no for an answer and, are more than a little crazy, we call them bunny boilers. So Libra, you will definitely attract at least one bunny boiler this month. So watch yourself with your little debonair charms. Oh my God. Because, yeah, listen, fragile people break easily. So, if you're going to play this game, play it with people who are at least temperamentally and psychologically strong enough to rebound from this. Do not torture the fragile people. Okay? Play with people your own size. Okay. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And for you, my darlings, because you and Leo, I just want the report. Neptune will be going direct in your 6th house. And I don't know that this is as much of a work thing, although it could be, as much as a health thing. So any weird vague kind of health complaints you've been wrestling with, or that's been coming and going sort of stuff, like it will resolve itself, or you're going to know exactly what you're dealing with when Neptune goes direct. So all of that confusion, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. All the confusion about what's going on, like you'll know. And I also think that with you looking at your aspects for this month, you may actually be starting a new diet or lifestyle regime that involves improving diet or lifestyle, obviously, because nobody decides to make it worse. But you may actually find that if you decide to experiment with supplementation or vitamins or something like that, you may actually find by the end of the month the magic combination that really does it for you. So this is a really good time, especially as when we get closer to the end of the month, you're not quite so distracted by all the little love bunnies hanging around you, to really look at what you can do to improve your physical health. And I think you're going to find that the combination you need to be optimal is going to be a lot easier to find finally, and get you on track to better health, which you're going to need with all these people hanging around. Good Lord. Okay, and Scorpio. You are the master of intrigue, the mistress of seduction. You are the consummate playa. Oh my God. So, just what am I even supposed to say to you guys, right? Okay, so let me go back to your personal stuff, and let me start with the money, because actually that's going to be that's actually going to be more important to you this month than your fan club, which is pretty unexpected. So this month, in November, you will have Mercury and Saturn traveling together in Sagittarius, and they will be going through your 2nd house. Now, Saturn has been going through your 2nd house for a while now. So listen, money's been on your mind, and your mind has been on money. You know how that song goes, right? With Mercury traveling through there, on top of it, it is even more of a pressing issue for you. And also, you may find that this month, the financial support you previously had been able to count on from other people, at work, personally, whatever, is going to dry up this month. So this is a bad month for loans. This is a bad month for collecting on debts. This is a bad month for going into debt. This is definitely the month where you're going to have to tighten your belt and really reorganize your finances. Mostly because you just won't have a choice in the matter. Oh my gosh. And this will be further complicated. Yeah. This is going to be further complicated as we get down closer to the end of the month when Neptune goes direct and it squares that Mercury and Saturn in your 2nd house. So there may be unexpected expenses that go out as a result of either dating or indulgences or blackmail money or child support, which some people might call blackmail money, or alimony, which kind of is blackmail money. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, there are some financial losses, inconveniences. There are some financial inconveniences that are related to children and pleasure and gambling, that are unavoidable at the end of the month. So try not to put yourself in those positions if you can avoid them, and definitely reorganize your finances so that you're prepared for, you know, any increases in cost later, because you're definitely going to get walloped, by the end of the month. Okay. And the big news for you is that Venus and Jupiter, oh my God, my nose is itching. Sorry. Venus and Jupiter will be in your first house, making you as, well, you know, as irresistible as a snake charmer. Jeez Louise, and we're all just cobras in your basket. So, I know. So the beginning of the month with this full moon in Taurus in your 7th house, opposing all of this Jupiter and Scorpio in the first house sort of stuff, relationships are definitely going to go hot and heavy this month. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but this is definitely a very intense time. So for those of you who are single, well, you're a Scorpio. Like, define what single actually means for a Scorpio, right? For those of you who are not partnered with someone, this is a time when your magnetism, your ability to magnetize people to you, will be off the charts. Holy cow, Batman, where's the kryptonite? It's going to be very difficult for anybody to resist your charms, so please pick your targets accordingly, and with some thought into what you're getting yourself mixed up with, because Scorpios, you know you guys can't resist what you're not supposed to have. Wait. For those of you who are partnered and safely, oh, I'm so sorry, and safely off the market, for the rest of us, safely off the market, things will be intense. This is a phenomenal time to do something really romantic and kind of sexy and really rekindle fires of romance with you and your partner, because it will be off the charts, like off the charts, Richter scale. Oh my God. So I would so take advantage of that full moon this month. And as we get down into the month, you're getting all sorts of good and exciting stuff like all over the place. But the one I want you to watch is going to be that new moon around the 18th, which is also the time that Neptune will station direct. Because again, you're getting some financial hits here. There's some expenses you weren't expecting that are going to pop up. And also with that new moon in Scorpio in your first house, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to, dare I say it, do some soul searching, and really re-examine where you're at with yourself and what you want and how you can make everything even better. So, and you're no slouch when it comes to the self-improvement department, you know, professionally, personally, financially, like you're always all about it. But this is going to be a very fruitful time for you to really like really fine tune it, you know, so you can really get some good stuff out of this new moon. Okay. And Sagittarius, my lovely Sagittarian friends who have just not been having a great time for a while now. I can't promise you that this month is going to be a big party for you, as disappointing as that is. I mean, which isn't to say that you won't have a good time, because nobody can have a good time like a Sagittarius can have a good time. You guys could be in the middle of a war zone having a good time. But it's not quite the same these days. Now, the big thing for you is as Saturn remains in your first house, it's getting ready to leave, by the way, so hang in there. Your 7th house ruler, Mercury, will be joining it in your first house. So you will be attracting the attention of other people. Like, other people will literally be up in your business more than usual, with a whole lot to say. Oh my God, they're just going to have all kinds of things to say about you, how you're living, what you're doing. Oh, geez Louise, everybody's going to have an opinion about something. And because it's approaching Saturn, these may not necessarily be happy opinions, things to say up in your business. You may find you are the target of a lot of criticism leveled at you, but all of these things are intended to help make you a better person, and also to remind you to watch where you step with those big insensitive feet that you're usually planting in your mouth. A lot of pushback from other people this month. You're going to get through it, but it's not going to be easy because they're literally not going to they're not going to let you get up and take your feet out of the fire. Like you're going to have to be, you're going to have a come to Jesus moment that's going to last all month long. So just, you're going to have to deal with it and get through it the best you can and take it for what it's worth, and deal with the rest. It's just what it is. Now, the good news, there is good news. The good news is that you'll be getting a lot of support from behind the scenes and a lot of saving graces in the 11th hour, which you're usually pretty familiar with anyway. But your guardian angels and also people who are behind you, who really actually are supporting and behind you, will come to your defense like guardian angels and not necessarily tell you what they've done for you. So you can expect a lot of protection and assistance from behind the scenes and from people that you don't know yet. As long as you're doing the right thing. So acting with integrity will have its benefits in spite of the fact that other people just seem to want to give you nothing but crap every single step of the way. So keep your chin up and keep doing the right thing. I swear it'll get better once we get out of the month. Okay. Neptune will go direct. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Neptune will go direct in your 4th house and square all those first house planets. Uranus remains in your 5th, making your relationship still a little wobbly. So domestic matters, family matters may be a little challenging, through the month, especially when we get towards the end of the month. There may be, I'm not sure what that is, honestly. So Neptune goes direct in your 4th house, solar 4th house this month. It squares your Mercury and Saturn at the 1st. And I'm not completely sure how that's going to present itself, although it definitely is going to be something coming out of left field. What I'm seeing is secrets and things that were hidden and things that you didn't know about, or things that you were just oblivious to, like bam, like it's there now. There's no ignoring it now. And it's always better to have things up front where you can see them, because then you can deal with them. But it's definitely going to be very uncomfortable when it all kind of comes up to the surface. Like, holy crap, where did this come from? And that's going to be about the time we're under that new moon and Neptune going direct. So that's going to be around the 18th. So be aware and try to keep that classic Sagittarian temper under control, because this may literally have been something that was unavoidable. So not sure. We'll see though. Tell us all about it. Okay. And Capricorn. Business as usual for you. So your career, professional ambitions are off the chain this month. Lots of power moves, lots and lots of wheeling and dealing, lots of, handshaking, baby kissing, and brown nosing, and all those things that go into getting ahead in life, right? So lots of schmoozing, lots of networking, and all successfully so. So if you're not one of those Capricorns that is extroverted when you need to be, and a lot of Capricorns really aren't very extroverted, but they do it because they have to. But if you're one of the even more introverted Capricorns, for the love of God, make yourself go to these things. So networking, business, group, entrepreneur things, anything that gets you out and about with people who are also trying to get a leg up and give a leg up professionally and in business. This is where you need to be, because this is where it's really gonna strike gold for you. Okay. So lots and lots of assistance from unexpected places, but especially in groups and where group politics are concerned. So use that to your advantage. Mercury will be joining your ruler Saturn in your 12th house. So, you will continue to feel a need for more downtime and more God time, like literally more time alone with yourself and God, which I highly recommend and encourage. You may also be dealing with, especially this month, a more pronounced struggle with depression or low energy, which flies completely in the face of getting out and dealing with groups of people and parties and socializing and stuff. But it needs to be done. So with that, make sure that your downtime is quality downtime. So if you pray, make it a point to take time out of your day to go to go get quiet, be still, and pray. You know, if you don't pray, if you don't subscribe to that, if you meditate, you know, make sure you make it a point to take time out of your day to go be still, get quiet, and meditate. Whatever it is that you do for getting in touch with your divinity and your inner God, your handshake agreement partner with making things happen in your life. This month in particular, it's very critical for your physical and mental health, both, to have your quiet time. So make sure you schedule it in, because you're going to need that to kind of recuperate and regenerate yourself. If you do that, you're going to find that everything else is a lot easier and moves a lot smoother. So there's that. Okay, and but professionally and in terms of your ambitions, knock it out of the park. Good month. So work it, honey, work it. And Aquarius, my favorite robots of the zodiac. My favorite mad scientists of the zodiac. Okay, so you have all these amazing transits happening across the part of your chart that's very much about self-direction. So you are literally the captain of your own ship this month, and you are making change and progress and taking action and all sorts of fun stuff. Blazing trails. Okay, so Venus and Jupiter Venus enters the 10th house with Jupiter. So again, you know, this whole breakout, bust out period as far as career and profession go and business, this is the month where you're making power moves. Now, with with Mars in the 9th in Libra, in mutual reception to that Venus, so you may find that higher education, credentials or increasing your credentials and visibility as far as that is concerned, and or people at a distance, at a long distance, or foreigners or people who are involved in bridging two different worlds will be instrumental in you getting ahead professionally. So be open to the possibility that you there's assistance coming from other places. I know it's not very helpful, is it? It's just a really good month, and you've got a lot of stuff going on and a real itch to kind of move and advance yourself professionally. Mercury and Saturn will be in your 11th house. So again, dealing with people is really a matter of communications and making sure those communications are clear. So you may find that your normal people-oriented self might feel a little restricted actually in groups, because people are going to be a little more difficult for whatever reason for you to deal with this month than normally. So be aware of that. Neptune will go direct in your 2nd house towards the end of the month, which will free up a lot of your personal finances. So if you've been operating a little lean because things have not been going according to plan, and you keep having the rug pulled out from underneath you, have no fear, darling. It's about to straighten out. Thank God, right? Okay, but do be prepared for unexpected expenses that literally come out of the blue you couldn't possibly prepare for. So if you don't have a savings account of some kind set aside, this is the time to make sure, from the beginning of the month, this is the time to make sure you've got a little bit of extra money set aside for emergencies. And what else we got here? All right, so that full moon in Taurus, it will occur in your 4th house of home. So domestic stuff, family relations will be the order of the day at the beginning of the month. So be prepared for some conversations about that, or where our obligations are concerned to our families. Let's see. The days I really want you to keep an eye on is going to be around that quarter moon in November 26th, the very end of the month. Mars will move into an opposition with Uranus, and Uranus is your ruler. So it could, and it's in your third house. So this could show up in a couple of different ways. One, it can make you a lot more hot-tempered than usual, in all the wrong ways at all the wrong time. Timing is everything in life, and this may be one of those times when you lose your cool at the worst possible moment. So diplomacy is very, very important. The other thing is Mars Uranus coming from the 3rd and 9th is also an accident aspect. So, and I don't mean like a little fender bender. I mean like we're talking some significant, you know, vehicular damage. So be very, very cautious towards the end of the month. When you are driving or traveling or even riding as a passenger, and definitely make sure your car insurance is paid up. We don't want anything to happen to you. Okay? All right. And let's see what else we got. And Pisces. Okay, so we're going to start backwards with you. The good news is Neptune, your ruler Neptune, finally, oh my God, is going to go direct. And this is exciting because Neptune typically takes 4 freaking ever to do anything. So Neptune going direct is like, oh, thank God. All right. Now, with Neptune going direct, what you may have been feeling while Neptune has been retrograde is you may have felt like you're walking around in quicksand, like literally very lethargic, very fuzzy-headed, not quite able to get things together, you know, things just not making progress, you know what I mean? And or feeling very, very dejected. So, you know, and depression is not uncommon with Neptune retrograde either. So you have not been feeling like your normal Piscean self. The good news is that once Neptune goes direct, you'll be back to being yourself, and much like a slingshot, you will be catapulted forward, and you will catch up and make up for a lot of lost time. So hang in there, it's coming. For you, the full moon in Taurus will be in your 3rd house, and it will pull in that Jupiter in your 9th. So I would look for some important communication coming in around the beginning of the month that should be very, very good for you. So you don't have to wait until the end of the month to find reason for inspiration and hope to hang on just one more day. It's coming at the beginning of the month. So some important communique will be coming to you around this full moon. Hang in there and look for it, and it will be good. It will be good. Okay. Now, Venus and Mars traveling through you've got 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th house activation. So the whole western side of your chart is involved. So with Venus and Mars activated, you've got Mars in your, no, wait, sorry, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11. Gosh, I'm so sorry. So and still it's the western side of your chart. So the whole western side of your chart lit up like this, and especially across the top. Right now, and for a while, you may have been feeling like you're literally at the mercy of other people. Like, when this could be contributing to this whole feeling like it's just things are just not moving and flowing the way you want them to. That's not changing. However, Venus, let me start with Mars. Mars will be in your 8th house, and Mars will increase the activity of the house that it's in. In this particular case, it's shared resources. So you may find that November is a very, very special month in terms of support from other people. And it will be support because it is in mutual reception with Venus in the 9th. So somehow, some way, legal stuff, or people at a distance, or people who are from a completely different world than you're from, either in terms of social class, education, culture, geography, they will be instrumental in getting you the help and support that you need. So have no fear. The help will be here. Okay, Jupiter in your 9th house also gives you a lot of blessings and assistance from the angels. So no matter how weird or bad things look like you're getting, have faith, because the 9th house is an angelic house, and with Jupiter there, you're pulling in all sorts of assistance from the higher realms, honest. So even if it looks awful, it may actually be a blessing in disguise. You just can't see what the blessing is yet. Okay. Mercury and Saturn are in your 10th house. Mercury is your 7th house ruler, and Mercury is also your 3rd house ruler, 3rd and 7th. So, okay. So this can play out in a couple of ways. On the one hand, you will be held accountable. You will be held accountable for every word out of your mouth. So you really have to step up to bat, and you have to think before you speak, and you actually have to speak up. So, you know, communications are extremely important, but more importantly, professional, dignified, mature, responsible communication is what is being required of you right now for the entire month. Also, it will feel like, even though it feels like other people are really taking you to task for every single word coming out of your mouth, making you even more hyper vigilant about what you're saying, you know, the upside to this is that you are learning communication skills that will pay off later. So this is kind of like a midterm exam. So everything you've learned so far about how to be an adult and a responsible professional, it will be put to the test this month. And you know you can do it. You can pass this. So get with the program and hang in there. Now, be aware that when your ruler Neptune goes direct at the end of the month, it will square those 10,000 planets. And what that means is one of two things. Either, no, it could mean a couple of things. So on the one hand, with Neptune, Mercury, Saturn, Sag, Pisces, on the one hand, it could be slander or deliberate misrepresentation of something you said, which is even more reason to be very careful about everything you say up until then, you know, and being very on top of it. Or it could be that stuff, if you've not been operating with a lot of integrity, anything that you were not full of integrity when you said it, it's coming back to bite you now. And the last thing that it could play, and it could be all of these things, and the last thing it could play out as is literally people who underestimated you while Neptune was retrograde. When Neptune goes direct, it will all come to the table and they will know who they're dealing with, and you will be recognized as a force to be reckoned with. Which may or may not be a good thing, because when you are labeled a force to be reckoned with, people get uncomfortable and you immediately become a target. So your work will not end there. It will literally just kind of intensify. The temperature will get turned up on you, which again, you know, is going to be like a midterm. You can get through this, but it won't be easy. But if you do get through this successfully, you'll be amazing. So there's that. And for my little Pisces, I would say that your best time of the month is going to be around the 18th, around this new moon, when Neptune goes direct. So with that new moon and Neptune going direct, for you in particular, this is an awesome, awesome time. This is an awesome time for you to get clear, to go into your meditation space, your visualization space, your what is it they call it? Your wish board. You know what I mean? Your visualization board. This is the time to put those dreams together and really figure out what the essence of what you're looking for is, and put it out there. Because this is a tremendously, tremendously healing time. So if there's anything that you've needed to release so that you can get out of your own way, or so that you can get life to get out of your way, this is the time when it will be the most easy to get these things to kind of shift and move. Okay. And that is it for your Powerscopes for the month of November 2017. Oh, Spirit is so trying to talk to me right now. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Give me 1 second. There you go. In terms of, so sometimes, in case you guys aren't aware, when your spirit guides or your ancestors or your angels or whoever it is that you personally work with are trying to get your attention, because they need to talk to you or they need to talk through you. Everybody gets their own little taps on the shoulder, their own versions of a tap on the shoulder. So for me, it is lots of itchy stuff like this, which is moving on since we started doing this broadcast. So clearly they have stuff that they want me to put out there. So one of the things that I want to share with you is that sometimes I work with my ancestors and I work with my guides, or angels. I don't really, there's no way to check a passport from the other side. So I'm not really completely sure who I'm dealing with, except that they're coming from the right place. So, and some of them are my ancestors. So one of the things that I want to share with you is that oftentimes it will give me a message or a symbol or something that doesn't necessarily make any sense to anybody. But for the person it is intended for, it will make all kinds of sense. So, for the next couple of minutes, this may or may not make any sense to you. If it doesn't make any sense to you, don't sweat it. Then clearly it's not for you. If it does make sense to you immediately, that's awesome. But just take it for what it is, and that's it. And if you're not interested in the sort of stuff, you can go ahead and cut the video off now, and we'll see you next month. Okay? All right. So I'm hearing the name Gloria, Gloria, Gory, Gorin, and something about peanuts. I don't know what that's about. What are peanuts about? Okay. And this message is for somebody who has just recently gotten married or engaged, and it looks like they're trying to move, or they've just moved. This almost looks like an elopement. Ooh, it's getting really warm in here. So there's a brand new partnership that has just started. It looks like it's an engagement or some type of elopement where you run away to get married, because there's definitely travel with this. So there's this moving away from everyone, almost escaping or running off. But they're showing me pills, medicines, and it's very important for whatever reason for this person. They want you to be, they say you already know, you're very responsible, but there's something about medication that's very important, and that you, what is the word they're trying to give me? Like being on top of it, like you need to be more on top of it. You can't blow this off. This is very important. So I don't know if it's you or the other person, but there's something about medications that are important, and they want you to stay on top of that, or at least be more aware of what happens with it or without it. Medications, this just doesn't sound good. I mean, it's not bad. It's just that it doesn't sound safe, because you don't want to mess around with medications. You take medications for a reason. You don't want to mess around with that. So whoever this is for, I would pay attention to. And that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the name that came through. I don't know what that's about either. But with that name, Gloria, Gory, Gorin, Gore, something about kites or parasailing. I'm seeing like a kite, like something flying, but it's not a kid's kite. It looks like a big kite, like you would see for parasailing or hang gliding. Right. And somebody out there, I don't know if it's the person who is watching this or if this is the person watching this knows, but there's somebody out there that works in almost like an archive, like a library or like a storage area, like an archive, where you store information, books, videos, microfiche, that sort of stuff. There's a like a library archive sort of environment, where things are kept for safekeeping. That's very important. It's very, it is so quiet in there. That's why I'm thinking library, right? And they're saying, what I'm hearing is they want you to know that it's going to be okay. There's something that's really concerning this person. There's a lot of worry and fear and insomnia with this person, and it has to do with authority or an authority figure in their life. So this is either their father or this is an issue with a job. But it's this kind of authority figure that they're locked into. They couldn't get away from this person or the situation if they wanted to, because it's almost like an obligation to be there. And what they're saying is to do your best, because there's nothing else you can do otherwise. So driving yourself crazy with fear and anxiety and angst and regret, or whatever these things are that are keeping you up at night, these feelings, these thoughts, it's not necessary, because it doesn't change anything. So they really want you to just understand that everything at this point is unavoidable, and you just have to ride this out. So do the best that you can with the time that you're there locked in. And last message is, I want to say Ange or Angela, but it's not an American name. This is like an Asian or an Indian name. I can't pronounce it, which is, trying to make sounds out of bizarre, distant, muffled sounds. So I'm sorry, but it starts like an A-N-J sound. I don't know, but it's not American. There's a baby on the way. Oh my God. So whoever this person is, there's a baby coming in. There's a soul that's trying to be born around you. Oh, I'm going to hear about this. And it's coming very fast. And there's, what they're saying is that when you get news of this, don't judge. Don't resist the urge to judge, and to take the higher road and understand that there is a lot of divine intervention and spiritual imperative behind the birth of this child. They're supposed to be here, and coming through in the circumstances that they're coming through under. So reserve judgment, rise to a higher level, go to a higher level with this, and understand that there's more here than just a momentary act of lack of caution that resulted in a baby. There's a bigger picture involved in all of the lives participating around this kid. So, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Someone's going to ask if it's a boy or a girl. I don't want to, I personally don't want to get into whether it's a boy or a girl. One, because obviously I don't want to be wrong getting information. But the other is that, these days with all of the gender fluid stuff that's going on, like it's, boy in form, girl in spirit, it's hard to get clear reads on that anymore, because people can shapeshift now, depending on where you are and how many resources you have available to you. But what I can tell you about this particular soul is that this particular soul is here and is going to, they're going to do good things. And they're going to lead, when they're an adult, a very comfortable, enriching, rewarding life that's filled with spiritually positive things. So gender doesn't really matter, because whatever gender they are and whatever society or culture they're born into, they're here for a reason. They've got work to do, and they're going to be okay, and they're going to be able to take care of everybody around them. So, and that's the important thing. Okay. And the last thing that I'm getting for the month of November for everybody in general is they're saying to please, 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 everybody, take time out, take 5 minutes out a couple times this month or more if you can do it. And, woosah, like literally get into your quiet place and get still. So you don't have to manifest or visualize or pray. You don't have to be outcome oriented. What they really want you to do is find a couple of minutes, a couple of times this month or more frequently, to get quiet, get still, and get centered. More than anything else right now, especially this month, we're all going to need to find that still point inside ourselves and kind of bring it down a notch. Because it's getting colorful out there. So the more we can woosah, the easier it's going to be for all of us to kind of get through this with the minimal amount of trauma or damage, as we kind of, bump along and get tossed around, on this journey. All right, so that is your November Powerscope and reading from the ancestors. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I did, and I know I've stopped itching and sneezing. My ancestors and guides, thank you for letting me have this opportunity to talk and give them a chance to express themselves. And hopefully we will see each other again soon. In the meantime, peace, breathe, love, and go find a reason to laugh. Talk to you later.